afternoon, everybody. How are we all today? I hope we are all well. I hope we are all chipper. I hope we are all with loved ones and enjoying the time we spend with loved ones. I'm here today to say a big, huge thank you to all the people that have fought for the freedom we all have these days, that fought in the war back then and are still fighting the war today. Thank you to everybody who has risked their lives to give us the freedom we have. And may all the soldiers that have fallen rest in peace, and may the families of the fallen realize that they had a hero in their family when they decided to go to war, whether they wanted to or they were drafted or whatever the situation may be. They risked their lives to give you the freedom and us the freedom that we have today. So I just wanted to put out a thank you to the fallen soldiers and luckily for the soldiers who came home. And hello to that one person who's in chat. I appreciate the fact that you risked your own life to give me the freedom I have to walk the streets these days and all the rest of that. Okay, now I'm going to touch on a bit of what I touched on the other day and go into a bit more depth about it, because I don't know if that live is still up. I think I took it down. But I'm just going to rehash on that a bit about what goes through the mind of a killer. And it is quite disturbing, because you look at how many children have been killed, how many young adults have had their lives taken, in other words, how many people in general have just lost their lives due to psychopathic people where they fall through the cracks and they're still allowed to walk the streets. It makes me wonder with Chris Watts. He seemed to, according to his mum, had a great upbringing. Everything he wanted, he got. He wanted to join NASCAR or something. His mum made it happen. He wanted to go to do this, this, and this, and this. His mum made it happen. So he got pretty much everything he wanted as a child. But then he grew up, he got married, and yeah, he ended up annihilating his entire family. It makes you wonder with things like that, can a child be spoilt too much, so much in fact that they are driven to think that the only way they can actually break the ties with their clingy family or anything is to commit an ultimate crime? If that is the case, leave me the fuck out of it. There are people who speculate that people who have not the best upbringing, they had a horrible childhood, they had a father who beat them, and or their parents divorced or something along those lines, you know what I mean? It's really fucking sad, because my parents stayed together until the day my dad passed away, and my dad was not the best as bringing me up. I'm not going to go into details about it, but let's just say it wasn't the perfect upbringing that, like the Brady Bunch scenario that, you get a problem, you talk about it as a family and you solve it as a family. It was basically you have a problem, you solve it yourself, and then you move on kind of thing. We didn't do little families get-togethers on how are we going to help Tammy solve her depression. It was never even, things like that weren't discussed. Now, in saying that, that doesn't mean that I'm now, because I had a dysfunctional family life, that I'm going to go out and kill someone, or I'm going to go out and purposely hurt someone. It makes absolutely no sense to me how people in the psychology realm of supposedly being an expert, they want to blame people's childhood for why they become the way they become. Now, I know a lot of people who had a fucked up childhood, myself included. But like I said, I've never wanted to go out and physically hurt someone. If I've emotionally hurt someone, that is not deliberate. That's just, excuse me, that's just sometimes, unfortunately, what happens in this world. But like I said, there are people out there who have the most amazing upbringing and get everything they could possibly want, yet they still turn to drugs, they still turn to alcohol, they still turn to being a pedophile, sorry for triggering. They still turn to things that are really fucking messed up. But somehow the psychologists want to blame people's childhoods as to why they become serial killers and all the rest of it, or they're just born that way. I don't think anyone necessarily is born evil, but I might be way off thinking that. So, excuse me. It's really, 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 really sad that they want to try and blame it everything but whatever's going on in their actual lives that they are responsible for. Like if you lose your job, is that your boss's fault? Is that the business's fault, or is that yours for not meeting the quota, so to speak, that was required of you while you had that job? And that's why you decided to commit crimes to do that. It's funny how people want me to talk about true crime, and I get 4 people in here. I'm talking true crime, and whoop, they're gone. Don't know who those 4 people were, but thanks for tuning in. But it just makes me laugh how people want me to talk true crime, and now that I am, no one wants to hear it. It's funny. But like I said, it's just, for me, it's very upsetting that there are people out there who want to try and blame, excuse me, that want to try and blame the parents. They want to try and blame all everybody but the person who actually commits the crime. And I think that's really quite sad. You know, sorry, give me one sec, please. Just got to respond to this. Like, if we could all look at ourselves in the mirror right now, whoever's in here watching this on replay or anything, look in the mirror and ask yourself, if you could change one thing about yourself that you do not like, would it change the way you see yourself in the mirror every time? Like if I was to have the guts to look in the mirror and I would see things I don't like, I'd say, okay, well, I don't like my hair at the moment. Yes, Andy. It would come down to like I'll change my hair, I would change the way I'll change a lot about myself. But it's not going to change who I am at the end of the day on the inside, because there are people out there who say, oh, I just had this urge in me, like this guy Paul Denya. All right, no relation to I can't remember the guy's actual whatever his name is, but his name is Paul Charles Denya. All right, and he went around the Frankston area here in Australia, Frankston, Melbourne. And what happened is that it would be very, very frustrating because of the fact that he goes, I just had this urge to kill. I was just waiting for that switch to go off and I'd go kill. Now, for me personally, I have never had the urge to, like I said, physically lay a hand on anyone. I have once punched my brother, and I have actually felt really, 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 really felt bad for that. And hang on, sorry. Sorry, I just got to respond to that after. But like I said, it just comes down to that there are people out there that say they're just waiting for something to happen, for that switch to be flipped. Now, things that don't have control of if they kill are sharks. They don't go swimming up to someone and go, oh, okay, this looks like a nice person. I'm not going to eat them. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, blood is pissing out of their body. But hey, my instincts are telling me to eat this person, but this person's a nice person, therefore I'm not going to. It's like a horror. It's like any kind of disease out there. It doesn't pick and choose who it's going to infect. You know what I mean? So for people to come along and say people have a choice whether they kill, you do, in a way, you do have a choice. But if you choose not to take that choice and you choose to go kill a family, or you go and choose to kidnap a child and essay that child and all that sort of shit and completely fuck up that child's life, and then in return you then think, this child might recognize me one day. Oh, that's okay. I'll just kill it. Kill him. Shouldn't call a child an it. Sorry. But it makes me very, very angry when there are people out there who think it's okay to do that. I personally get very angry when they try and blame the parents, or they try and blame their upbringing. How does this sound? Blame the person that is actually doing the killing. Blame them and only them. Like I said, if you get fired from a job and you're supposed to meet a certain standard and you don't meet that standard after 3 fucking months, and the boss decides, you know what, this guy or this woman is a fucking idiot, doesn't know what they're doing, we're going to fire them. Is that your fault for not trying to meet the quota, or is it the boss's fault? In my personal opinion, it's your fault because you're not meeting what is required of you to be able to maintain the job, because you could be the one that, you know, your job depends on this person and this person and this person's job to meet their quota, but because you're not meeting yours, they can't meet theirs. So they're going to fire you, get someone in who knows what they're doing and they can actually meet the quota. Then that's a good thing. But why should the boss be held responsible because they gave you chance after chance after chance? And why should the boss be told it's your fault that Trevor Consuelo Frappler went on a murderous rampage? It's no one's fault. You know what's required of you at a job. You know you're not up to it, then don't apply for it. But no, like I said, I just get very angry when I hear them saying stuff like, oh, it's their childhood. They're to blame for why, their parents weren't very good parents and all this sort of shit. My parents sucked, if I could be honest. And I love my parents. My dad is no longer here. But like I said, my parents, they didn't nurture me in the way that I wished I was nurtured, but in a lot of ways I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I wouldn't be the person I am now if I had been, babied and nurtured and all that kind of crap. If I had been, then I wouldn't be who I am now. So I look at it as this way, is that I'm responsible for me. I'm not responsible for, I don't have children, for those who are tuning in the background. I don't have children. So therefore, I don't have responsibilities. Like if something happens with my mum and she needs me, then my mum becomes my responsibility. No ifs, ands, or qualms about it. My mum becomes my responsibility. But in the meantime, I'm responsible for me. I'm not responsible for every Tom, Dick, and Harry who decides to think that it's okay to do what they're doing and all the rest of that sort of stuff. I'm not responsible for anybody else. If I wanted to go out there and kill someone, mind you, I wouldn't succeed because I hate the sight of blood. But what I'm saying is, that would be my responsibility to deal with. No one else's. Sorry, give me a sec. Oh. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. There's no one in here, so there's no point to even apologise. It's all good. But like I said, when you think about it, this is where I would love to have a few people in here so I could get their input. Or what do you think goes through the mind of a killer when they are doing that? Do you think it's fair that the press and the police and all the rest of that, do you think it's fair that they blame the parents? Do you think it's fair that they blame their upbringing? Do you think it's fair? Like if they're drugged out of their fucking skull, even then blame the drugs, blame this person, blame that person. How about, like I said, do you think it's fair that other people continuously get the blame for a psychopathic murderer or a psychopathic person? Do you think it's fair? Hang on, sorry guys. That the person who actually does the killing, they get the blame in the end, but they don't get the blame in the beginning. Excuse me, sorry. It's just really sad how, with the person who killed John Bonet, makes me wonder, what was going through their head? Did they honestly think that after strangulation and a blow to the head that John Bonet was going to just sit back up and go, awesome, I'm alive? No. That blow to the head cracked her fucking skull open, man. Like, there's no coming back from that. Now, the question is, who do people blame for that murder? Because it's been unsolved. Do they blame the fact that this person was a psychopath? Do they blame the person that actually committed that crime? Do they blame them? Or do they blame everybody else and their dog apart from that person. You know, you've got to ask yourself those kinds of questions. Like when it comes to a killing, pay attention to who the paparazzi is actually blaming, guys, because it's getting to the point where it's getting beyond the freaking joke where every bloody person, sorry, is getting the blame, but the person actually responsible. The person responsible gets thrown in jail where they get 3 meals a day, 9 out of 10 times a bed to sleep in, a pillow to lay their head on, and a blanket, access to computers, and all that sort of shit, okay? Now, there are some jails that if, you know, you've killed a child or you've hurt a child in some way, you know, you're enemy number one, you're the target. But the thing is, though, is the fact that if you become friends with these people that see you as an asshole, unlike or killed a child or something like that, you know, you might be seen as an asshole for a couple of months, but then, hey, you could become friends with that person and realize they're just like you. So then what happens is, sorry, give me one sec. Sorry, give me one sec. But like I said, it just comes down to the fact that it's like, it's very, very hard to be able to, when you see criminals in courts and stuff and they've got their head lowered, don't lower your fucking head. Show your face, mate. Don't be fucking this person who hides under a jumper when you're getting taken into the courtroom or you're being arrested. Let people see the face of the person who committed these crimes. Don't let them have the satisfaction of being hidden away and all that sort of crap, because that's not fair. Why should they be respected enough to have their faces hidden or their faces blurred out or whatever like that? But then when you see footage of the lawyers and you see footage of the jury or the judge, their faces are still being seen. But the person who committed the crime, they're being hidden away by a blurry or by like blurry shit over their little faces or by a jumper or a coat or their hands or anything like that. Why should they be protected? If someone can answer that for me, that would be absolutely amazing. Because I don't think they should be protected. I think that if you commit a crime, you should be on full display so everybody can recognize your face. So that way, if you do happen to get, you know, to escape from jail by some fucked up twist of fate there, you've escaped from jail and all that kind of crap, people should be able to see your stupid face. But like I said, unfortunately these days, criminals actually get more rights than people who are the victims of said crime. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that people think it's okay to do what they're doing. And people continuously, like I said, they're still allowed to hide their faces. They don't have to show their faces because they don't want to be seen. Well, do you think it's fair that the people that have lost a loved one are not allowed to see the face of the person who took a loved one's life? Do you think it's fair that they get ridiculed and freaking... Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to find something as I'm talking because, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating that I can't find my house keys. And I'd probably find them when I least expect to find them, and that's not when I want to find them. I'd like to be able to find them beforehand. But yeah, it's just like I said, for me, it's just infuriating how criminals these days, like I said, they get more respect. You might not think they do, but and that's fine. You're all entitled to your own opinion on this. But you think about it: when a criminal goes into a courtroom and they are hiding their faces, do you think it's fair that they should have the rights to be able to have their faces hidden? Like, help me understand how you think that's fair. Help me understand that. Okay, I've got to go to the loo, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Aussie True Crime, how you doing, sweetheart? But like I said, it comes down to the fact that they get the rights to have their faces hidden when they walk into a courtroom or when they're being arrested. They get to have their faces hidden. They actually have that right. But what rights do the people who are the victims of their crime, what rights do they get to know what the face of the person is that took away their loved one? What rights do they get? They get absolutely none because what? They think because the person who committed the crime is now in jail, justice has been done. No, it hasn't, because that son of a bitch who took their life of their loved one is, still able to have 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, whatever the situation may be. They're still able to have meals a day. Yet there's loved ones that have none of those rights. They've been all taken away because of that person who is sitting before them in the courtroom. I just think it's disgusting that people can think it's okay. Like, obviously, I might be out of line saying everything I'm saying. And if I am, so be it. But I'm not going to be held responsible for the fact that there are people out there who commit crime and then think it's okay to just, not show the son of a bitch's faces of the people who commit these crimes, and they have the rights to have their faces hidden. I don't understand how they think that's okay. I don't understand. If someone can help me understand that, that would be absolutely amazing, because I don't get it. Because I'll never understand how criminals, when like I said, when they walk from A to B, they can hide their face. And somehow, some way, they're allowed to do that. And somehow, some way, people find that acceptable. The police find it acceptable that they can walk from the courthouse to the car, or the car to wherever. And it's okay, because they want their privacy protected. Well, why should they have their privacy protected when the people's lives they've completely destroyed be on display for everybody to see? Why should that happen? Why should Daniel Morecambe's parents constantly have to be in a battle to prevent a movie that people claimed wasn't about their son, but then they released it even after they said they weren't in support of it? I don't get it. And like I said, if someone can help me understand that, I would be very, very fucking thankful. Hey, Donnie, how you doing? I'm trying my very hardest just to try and put content out there you guys might like, you might not. And either way, it's fine. You don't ever have to apologise for not liking my content. You don't have to be there patting me on the back if I do a good job of one. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, what I do is I try my hardest to do things that I find interesting. And like I was saying about Paul Denyer before, he just had an urge to kill. You know what I mean? And what do you call it? He had an urge to kill and was waiting for that sign to go off in his head, and then he would have gone and killed him. I don't know about any of you, but that's pretty fucked up. And it just makes me sad, like I said, that there are people out there who think what they're doing, like I said, by covering up the face of a murderer. What are you trying to, why? Why is it that we're not privy to know what those assholes look like that ended the life of a child or ended the life of an elderly person? Why do we have to live in fear, for that person, hypothetically, say, escaping? We're not going to know what that person looks like because we're never told step by step what this motherfucker looked like. We were kept in the dark. And then the police call on us as the public to help them find the person. And it's like, okay, we can try and help you, but here's the thing. Weren't we informed of this person before? We're told about their crime. But that's basically all we were told. And it's just, for me personally, I just think it's very fucking sad. Sorry, I've been highlighting comments with my hand without even realising. Sorry, guys. I just get very angry when the press wants our help to recapture people, but yet we don't have the rights to know anything about them, so to speak, in the meantime. Like, I'm not one to complain. If you know me, you know that's a lie. But, you know, like, I'm trying my absolute hardest just to remain neutral on it, but it's very, very hard to remain neutral when every time that something happens and stuff, you think about it. If anyone in here can honestly name a case where the criminal that's being charged hasn't covered their face, and tell me, do you think it's fair that criminals should be able to cover their face when they're being taken from the cop car to the jail cell? Do you think that we should be able to see their faces? Put a 1 in chat if you think we should see their faces, or 2 if you think no. And because there's only one person in chat, there's no point doing that survey. I just think that, like I said, there's a lot of things that are unfair in this day and age when it comes to justice. Like over here in Australia, if you commit a crime like murder, you're out in 20 years. So, you know, commit a crime when you're young, I say, because you get away with it, so to speak. You know, I just don't think anyone should be able to get away with murder. I reckon if you do the crime, you do the time, and that's more than 20 years. I'm sorry, but for me, I just find it very, very fucking sad how criminals can get away with so much. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to... Well, if I don't find my keys, it's okay. I'll look again later when I'm not live. That might make it a bit easier for people. I don't have to hear banging around when I'm trying to find shit. But like I said, it's sad. So criminals, when you think about it in the very big, large sense of things, criminals get more rights than fucking the victims. And for me, I just find it very fucking sad that that happens. You know? Why should they get to cover their faces when their victims have to actually look at them when they're committing these heinous things to them? They've got to stay there and fucking stare at them, and if they look away, they get beaten even more. You know, tell me how that's fair. But then when they escape from prison, we're all supposed to, you know, band together and fucking help the cops find them. If anyone can tell me how that's fair, I'll be happy. Oh, never mind. It happens. I don't know how many people are in here. I can't see it. Sorry. But like I said, there are people out there who commit crimes that fucking go on for years, and I mean for years, declaring their innocence. And in the meantime, the family is still struggling to come to terms with what's happened to their loved one. And in the meanwhile, the son of a bitch that's actually committed the crime, what do you call it, is out there living their life, you know, starting a family or killing other innocent people. Why should they get away with that? Why should they be allowed to? It makes me very, very fucking sad. But it happens. Unfortunately, it happens. You know, and what upsets me as well is that how, I think I even said this the other day when I went live briefly, and it's about how if you get bullied online, the cops do absolutely fuck all about it. You get bullied in real life, the cops do absolute fuck all about it. But the thing that I find most amusing, though, is the fact that when someone is, like, say, cyber stalked, which means stalked online, all right, if you go from one room to the next and someone just keeps following you wherever you fucking go. Here's the thing that I don't get, and I don't think I'll ever be able to fully understand, is the fact that when the cops turn to the press and go, oh, we're going to change the laws so this doesn't happen again. Well, I'm sorry, the laws haven't changed in the 20 years that I know of. That there was someone killed here in Australia because she went and met someone from online, and she was killed by the kid and the dad. Yet the same cop stood in front of the camera and goes, oh, we're going to change the way this works. You haven't done anything so far, fucktard. So come on, lift your game. When is the law going to change so much that the victims actually have more rights than the bloody criminals? Because even though the criminals will be put in jail and they think justice has been served, the scars that are left behind on the families, on the friends, on the siblings or whatever that is left behind. Like if something happened to me, Andy probably won't admit this, but I'm pretty sure that Andy would want justice and proper justice. You know what I mean? He would be a wreck because my brother is, even though he pisses me off at times, my little brother's my best friend. And I love him a bit. So there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for him. Like he works now, so he's happy. But my point being is the fact that when he does 5 till close, 3 till close, or whatever it is, I worry about him. So even though I sleep a lot anyway, I sleep during the day until I know he's finished work. I ring him around 1:30 in the morning. Have you finished? Yeah, I just got in the door. Okay, cool. And I know he's home and I know he's safe and I could go to bed and I could sleep easy. But if I don't get that phone call from him, I panic. Or I don't get that text message, or rather a phone call, because I can actually hear that he's okay. You know what I mean? And I know he's safe. But, that's just me being an overprotective, crappy sister, I guess, by worrying about him. But like I said, that's just me. Who's just said hello there? Oh, hey, Jody. How you doing, sweetheart? There's not many people in here, so if you can, everyone that is in here, send out the invite for people to join, please. I don't want another Lou numbered live. That's upsetting when that happens. But no, like I said, it's just like I don't see how putting someone in jail where, like I said, they get a bed to sleep in, they get a pillow, they get a blanket. So if it's winter, they're warm at night. If it's summer, I'm pretty sure they have air conditioning in most jails these days. Also, at the fact that they get 3 meals a day. Now, I don't give a shit if the meals are just basically 2-minute noodles without the flavouring sachet. I don't care. It's still a fucking meal. I've lived on 2-minute noodles once for a month, and oh my fucking God, am I bored with them. But then I found alternative things I can do to add to them and all that sort of shit. The point I'm making is the fact that let's just say Jack, let's use a name like Jack Gray, for example. He went out there and killed someone, right? And then he was thrown, then he was thrown in jail for 20 years to life. The person he killed isn't going to be eating anything ever again. Meanwhile, this Jack dickhead is in jail having 3 meals a day, access to exercise equipment, access to the internet, access to all these fucking things that if he was out in the public, he would have to have paid for. Oh, no. And while he's in jail, he's getting those kinds of accesses to those sorts of things for fucking nothing. You can get yourself your high school diploma in bloody jail. You can get yourself a degree in jail. You can get all these accreditations while you're in jail. And don't get me wrong, that's great. That's great. But what about the people's lives they took? What do they get to do with the rest of their life apart from living in not living, but spending the rest of their humane or their afterlife in a fucking urn or in a pine box 6 foot under in the ground? That's how they get to live the rest of their existence in the memories of everybody. Either they're in a memory because they're in an urn or they're in a pine box or whatever kind of wood you choose to use your coffin for. Meanwhile, the people that ended their life are in jail, living it up, so to speak. They get to have, like I said, they get access to a gym. They get access to bloody a pool if they're lucky. They get access to fucking the internet. They get 3 meals a day, a bed to sleep in, access to a library so they can borrow books and all that sort of shit. They get it fucking easy, in my opinion. They might not. I might be way out of line saying this shit. But it just makes me angry how there are people out there who think you do the crime, you do the time. But here's the thing, what time are they honestly doing where they're getting 3 meals a day, a bed to sleep in at night, a cold or hot shower, depending on what it is. They still get to shower every day. They still, if they need to speak to somebody, there's access for them to be able to speak to somebody. What are the people that lost somebody? What does Daniel Morecambe's family get as far as support? They had to start a foundation to offer support, to put word out there about stranger danger to children. That should have been up to the fucking government. That shouldn't have been up to a family in mourning of their child to put out that kind of information for that. That should have been a government message, not a mourning family's responsibility to put that out there. Kudos for them to doing it, but it shouldn't have been, it should not have fallen on them to do that, in my opinion. Excuse me. But like I said, it just makes me angry. If you do the crime, you should be fucking doing really shit jobs, like really, really shit ones that nobody wants. You shouldn't have access to books. You shouldn't have access to the internet. You should earn your 3 meals a day and not be just given them because it's chow time. But again, as I said before, who is responsible for when people kill? Who do we blame? As we know, the paparazzi chooses to blame the families, choose to blame their upbringing, choose to blame drugs. But the thing is, the one thing they all have in common is that it's you that's in common with all of it. It's you and your family. It's you and your drugs. It's you and your fucked up way of thinking. Like I said, I wasn't brought up with going to church and believing in all that sort of stuff. I wasn't. Okay? But the thing is, though, is the fact that I never once looked at my parents and said to them, my life is fucked up and I blame you and I blame you. I never once, as far as I remember, I've never blamed my parents. I've never looked at my brother and said, oh, you were spoiled fucking rotten as a kid. I wasn't, so I've gone and killed someone and I blame you for that. It's not in my DNA to do that, I just don't understand how people think it's okay to do that. I don't get it. But if it's easier at the end of the day when you are a felon of any kind, whether it's murder, SA, or anything like that. I personally think that it is so much easier for people to blame another person or to blame drugs or to blame their upbringing or whatever. It's so easy to blame other people than look in the mirror and actually think, son of a bitch, I'm actually the common connection of all these things. It's my family, it's my drug use, it's my upbringing, it's my way of thinking. I was I was waiting for the switch to flick so I could kill someone. I had the urge to kill. I just felt this way, I just felt that way, I felt like I was possessed. I It is so much easier to take the responsibility and say I. But when it comes down to it, you're not really blaming yourself because you're blaming something that is connected to it. You can't just go, I'm responsible for the murder of blah, blah, because I did it. Hardly anyone says that. Everyone's like, I waited for this to happen, or I was on drugs, I had a bad childhood, I had really bad parents. So what? There are other people out there who have bad parents and they grow up just fine. So what made yours so different that you think that the only way that you could honestly make yourself feel good about your horrible upbringing was to end the life of someone else who had it better than you? It makes no sense at all. Like the person who, like I said, the person who killed John Bonet, I often wonder. Sorry, sorry, give me one sec, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. See, I think that's Aussie true crime. That's really fucking sad. Thanks, Jody, by the way. Sorry, forgot to read that song. It's just really sad that they're in regards to. I'll highlight it so then people can see what she wrote. There are people out there that do go through domestic violent relationships, and they think that the only way that they can get out of it, or the only way that they can overcome it, is to to end their life. Now, I was in a domestic violent relationship for a very, very long time, and I'm very, very thankful that it's I think it's very sad that there are people out there who think that, they have to hurt themselves in order to do this. Like to end the suffering, they have to end their own life. Like I'll be honest with all of you, there are plenty of times when I was going through mine that I wanted to unlife myself, as they say, and I didn't want to be here anymore. I just wanted to, end my pain and then put the pain on everybody else that was around me because they weren't there for me, and all that sort of shit, until one day I woke up to myself and realized that it wasn't up to other people to save me. It wasn't up to other people to get me out of that situation. It was up to me to save me. And I look back on it now and I don't regret not. Sorry. There are moments where I do regret not ending my own life, but then I look at my life and how it is now. And even though I struggle a lot, I love my life. I love the fact that I can when I go food shopping, grocery shopping every fortnight, I know that everything I buy is what I want. Don't have to worry about what other people want. I know that every single step I take. Hey there, hang on. Hey Brandy, how you doing, doll? I know that every single step I've made since living on my own is my actions. And it's not because of a reaction to this person or that person, but Aussie True Crime is a dear friend that I've made since having my channel. I've met Jody is cool. I've met quite a few amazing people since having my channel, and I am so fucking lucky that I've come so far as I have. Sorry, just give me one sec, guys. But like I said, it comes down to that. And I will say this, don't ever think that if you're in a bad situation that there's no way out, because there always is. If there's always a way in, if you stay focused on where you came into a situation, you will always find your way out of it. Like I said, like I've got fucking a lot of things going around and around in my head at the moment with what I want to get. Like I said, I want to get a Chromebook. I want to either get a Chromebook or a Samsung tablet. I desperately want to get one. So if any money I raise on here, that's going straight towards it, regardless. Now, if I do happen to get one, then I can start doing more research on true crime stuff. So if you can help, please do. If you can't, then don't bother. It's okay. Do not feel pressured. My PayPal link is in the description if you choose to, and just know every cent helps. Thank you. But like I said, there are times like I don't ask for help for things that I know that I've got to be able to achieve in getting myself. I know that I can do it. I ask for help where there's things that I know that I can't. Like with my shed, I am still so thankful you guys helped me get that. With my fan, I am so thankful to whoever helped me with that. I see it as that I get help when I need it the most. I have my PayPal, even when I don't need help, I have it in my description because it's there. Because sometimes I talk about something that people want to hear more about and I get donations because of it. I'm not going to turn down a donation. I'm not going to take money for fucking just sitting here and go, like some people, this is where I find it funny. I don't know how the payment side of things work on TikTok, but you need like 1,000 people following you in order to be able to go live and all that sort of shit. And there's people there that go live and they hold up a sign and they say, I'm not going to speak until someone says, I love you. Or I'm not going to smile until somebody says, I love you. You're asking for gratification or self-worth from other people who might find that saying I love you. Some people like myself, I find it extremely difficult to say that. It's not something that if I say to somebody that I love them, it's not something that I just come out with and go, hey, love you. You know what I mean? Like if I say to someone I love you, I generally mean it. I don't mean it like if I was to say like Aussie True Crime, I love her to bits. She is an amazing friend. But because of all the shit that goes on in the world, I don't tell people every day that I love them, apart from my family, like my blood family, because I'm afraid they might think, oh my God, is Tammy a lesbian? And I assure you all, no, I'm not. Just so you all know, I'm definitely heterosexual. I definitely prefer dick over chick. So, all good. But what I'm saying is that there are people out there, sorry, I just made myself chuckle a little bit. There are people out there who, like I said, I've made some amazing friends on here, and I am so thankful to every single one of them. And if one of them stops talking to me, does that mean that I'm going to be offended or upset? I'll be upset. I'll be confused. Offended, maybe. But like I said, it happens. That doesn't mean I'm going to go out and kill someone because I've been rejected from people. My life doesn't center around YouTube. It centers around trying to make people happy. It centers around just trying to be me the best way I can be me. And like I said, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not gonna, like I said, anytime I get a donation in PayPal, I don't mention the person's name. I don't mention the amount because of the fact that I need them to remain confidential and their donation to remain private. There was a person who I wasn't even live, and a person donated to me the other morning at 2:15 or so in the morning. I got a notification about it. I wanted to say to that person who did donate that, thank you so, 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 so much. It was very generous and very kind of you to do that. Thank you. But like I said, I don't, people go, why don't you mention people's names? You don't have to mention their amount, but you just mention their names. I'm like, because I don't want to. For example, I'm not asking you to, Aussie, so relax. Or Jody, if Jody and Aussie were to donate right here, right now, right? Say $100 each. Hypothetically, hear me out before you think, oh my God, what is she saying? If they were to do that, I would not then go up and say, oh, Jody is cool. Thank you so much for that $100. Aussie True Crime, thank you so much for that $100. I would never, ever do that. Because of the simple fact is that I don't think it's right to do that. Unless Aussie True Crime messages me and says, I'm about to donate to you, please mention my name and amount when you're live next, I'd much appreciate it. Then that's the only way I'd mention people's names. And even then, I'd be very, very reserved about it because I don't want to do that on my channel. You know, there are people that send out super chats and super stickers. Mind you, I'm not interested in any of that. I'm nowhere near even being eligible to do that. But what makes me angry is that there are people out there who donate to people that are bullies, people that repeat the same shit all the time, and they get donations after donations after donations. Now, there are people out there like Aussie True Crime, myself, I'll say myself and Aussie True Crime. When we go live, we try and put out different content each and every live, and we try and be different. I don't know how Aussie True Crime gets with her super chats and super stickers and all that and how her PayPal works or anything like that. It's none of my business. But let's just say she ends up like I do and we don't get fuck all each and every live. She's probably cool with it. I get actually quite offended and upset, but then I look at it as that I'll get there one day. Maybe. But like I said, just so you all know, Chromebook or Samsung tablet is what any money raised between now and whenever I get the amount I need. Yeah, it'll be good. Sorry, just replying to this message. I get a lot of messages. My brother seems to always know when I'm live. He chooses that time to non-stop message. It's actually quite funny. It's like, I'm live. He goes, "Are you that bored?" I'm like, "No, I'm that frustrated because I've been listening to like a few interrogation videos of people around Australia, and they just go, "I just had the urge to kill." Well, I have the urge to slap a few people across the face. That doesn't mean I'm going to go do it. Well, I have the urge to punch someone. I'm not going to go do it. I remember when I punched Andy once, and it was only in the arm, but I actually hurt him, and I didn't actually realize my own strength. And he said that I actually hurt him. And even though it was over 15 years ago that happened, I still find myself apologizing to him for that. And like, my little brother's my best friend, and I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to upset him, and I think the world of him. Like I said, it was 15 or so years ago, guys. So it was a very long time ago. So don't judge. But he was pissing me off. But from that moment on, I knew that I didn't want to be that person who thought that if someone pisses me off, instead of just walking away and not saying anything, I'm not going to be that person who thinks that violence is a way to get the point across that I'm pissed off. Sorry, Brandy, I shouldn't be swearing. Sorry. But so who's in here? There are 5 of you in here. Who's in here? May I ask? Anytime anyone's ready to say hello. I know there's people in here. Oh, well, that's awesome, Aussie, that you could do. I don't even know what monetization or whatever it's called. I don't even know if I'm eligible for that, so I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, it's just okay. Hang on, I know what I'll do. I'll do this because I'm weird like this. Okay, I'm gonna do something that I wouldn't usually do. Well, I do this usually, but it's gonna be for anyone who wants to come up and talk about what they think goes through the mind of a serial killer or a singular killer who's only ever killed one person. But yeah, if anyone wants to pop up and give their opinion, that'd be awesome. Because I was going to make this a solo effort, but yeah. Yeah, so it's very interesting with what goes on with serial killers. Like I said, they find so many ways to blame anything, and I mean anything else other than who is actually responsible, and it's them. Like, yeah, they might say, "Oh, I just had the urge to kill. I just this, I just that." Yeah, they're taking responsibility, but like, it's really sad though. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you in here for fucking ever. Sorry. But no, I just think it's very interesting with what goes on in the mind of a serial killer. Like, can you imagine just, like, it makes me sad. Like, every time I leave, this is really bad of me, I know. But every time after I've spent the day with my brother and all that sort of shit, and I go on home or I get dropped off, and then he goes home in the Uber or whatever we get. And it's funny though, because I know I've only just seen him, and it's still daytime, mind you, but I have to make sure that he's okay, he's home and he's safe. Even though I know he's in an Uber, can't trust Ubers much these days, but still, I just worry about him a lot. You know, he's my little brother and my best friend, and I don't want anything to ever happen to him. He wants to go travelling overseas. I don't want him to because I'm a selfish bitch. And also because I see it as that, yeah, it's too far. His dog's fretted when he was in hospital for 5 days. Imagine what these dogs are going to be like if he's gone away for 2 weeks. Fuck. Come home, sorry, Annie, but Chapter passed away because he was fretting for you. But like I said, the link's in chat, so if anyone wants to pop up and say what they think goes on in the mind of a serial killer, that'd be awesome. Because I honestly don't know what goes on in the mind of a serial killer. Oh, okay. I don't. Okay, this is really bad of me. Okay, BTK. Can you tell me who BTK is? I thought for a second it was BPK, which was the backpacker killer, but you put BTK. So can you please tell me who BTK is, Kerry? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so, yeah, you're right. Some people are actually proud of the fact that they've gone and killed people. They gloat about it and all that kind of crap. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, so if you could tell me who BTK is, that'd be absolutely awesome. Oh, mood. Please keep inviting people to come in. But like you said, Kerry, there are people that, you know, rave about what they've done. And it's very, 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 very sad that there are people out there that do that. And then, like I said, I don't understand how they can get what they get in jail. Like, it's just, nah. Oh, fuck. I'm just reading chat, guys. I'm not disappearing. Please don't think that I'm just reading chat. Do 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 do. I don't know why I'm doing that. Please don't ask, because I don't know. But like I said, Kerry, what is beat? Oh, here we go. Oh, thank you, Ozzy. I did not know that. That's very sad that I didn't know that. I'm into true crime and I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. But yeah. Do you think that an Guys, I happened to boot myself out of the studio, so I'll repeat what I was saying. Sorry about that. I was saying about I don't think there is a serial killer out there who's ever actually felt enough remorse for me to say I believe him. And that might make me about what the hell is going on? I find it's a pain in the ass. The BTA killer is called Dennis Rader. Between 1974 and 1991, he killed 10 people. BTK stands for Biden Torture Kill. He wrote letters to the police, taunting them by sharing his crimes. Oh, what a fucking asshole. Well, so that's what I mean. I don't understand why people think that, that could make my skin crawl. Well, I don't understand how people think that they can get away with doing that sort of shit. It's just disgusting. But thank you so much for telling me, Ozzy, and thank you, Kerry. And now when he was caught, he told officers all he did, showing no remorse. And some of the officers at the time described feeling it. Well, yeah, well, as they bloody would, like. I just see that's what I mean. There are some people who gloat about what they've done, show no remorse, nothing. And then there are some people who actually commit these horrible crimes and they fucking sit there and go, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. And then when they're in jail, they blab to an inmate like, hello, fuckhead, you're in prison. You do realise you've denied it all this time. You've been convicted, even though you still claim innocence. And yet you go and brag to a nobody in jail thinking what? They're going to just say, oh, we can get 10 months off our jail term if we just say nothing. If we say something, we can get a lower sentence. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I says, if you do the crime, you do the fucking time. And if you become an informant, I don't care. You should never, ever get months or years or whatever shaved off your bloody own sentence. Just because you've told on another inmate. It might make me a bad person, but so be it. Anyway, so what are your thoughts, everybody, in the 4 people that are in chat? What are your thoughts on what's happening with the justice system? What do you think we should bring back the death penalty for CMs and SAs and murderers? Or do you think that our justice system, wherever you happen to be in the world, this is, do you think that the justice system is just fine the way it is? This is why I had an open panel discussion, because I'd like people to come up and discuss this. But if no one is, I'll ask this question, get results, and then I'm going to head off because I've got to go do some certain things. I've got to go do some certain things. That sounds really snobby, doesn't it? I've got to go do some things, I should say. But by all means, like, my panel is always open for people. If you want to discuss something, feel free to come up on my next live. It's all good. But I am going to end this live, and I'll talk to you all again soon. And but like I said, if you want to help me out, get a Samsung tablet or help me get a Chromebook, please feel free to donate into my PayPal. I do this for the love of true crime, as well as like what Aussie True Crime said. But it comes down to that it's very hard to read the small print even when I enlarge it on my phone. So if anyone can help, please do. Thanks, Kerry. All right, guys, just know that I'm here. If you want to get in touch with me, feel free to find me on Facebook. I'm on there with my Facebook page as well. It's called Aussie True Crime. I'm going fucking good today. It's called True Crime Discussions with Tammy. If you need to find me, please feel free to find me on there and message me through Messenger, and I'll get back to you as soon as I read your message, providing it's not inappropriate. But until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Hold the people you love close, and remember to tell people that you love them, because you never know when you're not going to get the chance to say it again. So you might as well say it as often as you can for as many times as you can. But until next time, guys, take care, and remember, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Love you all. Bye.